Hi everyone and welcome to today's session. My name is Annie and this is Henry who's going to be helping me out with today's session with demonstrating some of the exercises. So today's session is an athletic development session with 4 units. We're going to work on a stability mobility unit which is going to act as a warm-up. We're then going to take it on to a speed mechanics unit. That's going to be followed by a strength unit and then we're going to finish up with a cool down stretch. So to kickstart this, we're going to work on stability and mobility for the warm-up. We're going to start off with a very simple but powerful technique to stabilize and mobilize the whole body, and this is a breathing control exercise. So Henry, I'm going to get you down onto your back. I'm going to get your knees bent and feet flat and hands by your side. Your feet are going to be just about hip width apart. You're just going to keep a neutral spine on this exercise. And very simply, all you're going to do is inhale in through the nose, but what you're trying to do is breathe down into the tummy. You're going to hold that and exhale out through the mouth. As you're doing it, I want you to imagine pushing the breath down into the tummy, and then hold it for 2 seconds, and then you're going to exhale out slowly. So we're going to use a count here of inhale for 4, hold for 2, and then you're going to exhale for a count of 6. So you want to do this around 5 times, just really focusing on drawing that breath down into the tummy. A nice slow inhale, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. So we're just going to do that once more, Henry. Inhaling in through the nose, breathing into the tummy, holding for 2 seconds, and exhaling out. Okay, your next exercise in the same position. Again, we're not moving for this. We're going to use this next exercise, core bracing, to activate deep-lying core muscles. So very simply, all you're going to do is maintaining that same position. You're going to tense the muscles through the core and hold that tension in the core for about 10 seconds. So tensing those core muscles. And if you're struggling with this, I want you to imagine me placing a weight down on top of your tummy and what you would do to prepare for that. And you're just going to hold that tension lightly. You don't want to tense too hard because then it's going to draw tension through the rest of your body. So just tensing for about 10 seconds and then relaxing. Again, drawing tension in through the core, and you're just breathing normally as you do this and keeping that tension in the core again for 10 seconds. And relax. Good. Okay, so now that we've got our breathing control right and we've activated through the core, we're going to take it into some movement. So the next exercise we're going to work on is the inchworm to front stretch. And the idea of this exercise is to stabilize and mobilize the whole body. So Henry, I'm going to get you to stand at the end of the mat. Okay, starting in an upright position, you're going to very slowly take your hands down onto the mat, trying to keep your legs as straight as possible. Walk your hands forward to a push-up position. Hold that push-up position. Drop your knees and hips towards the mat, but not onto the mat, and gently arch the back, looking up to the ceiling. Hold for a second, and then you're going to walk it back, trying to keep your legs as straight as possible, and come all the way to a standing position and upright. So I'm going to get you to repeat that four more times, so 5 times in total. So if you are struggling with this exercise and you're struggling to keep the knees straight and you're struggling to hold yourself up in that position, Henry, I'll get you to continue. What you can do is keep the knees softly bent as you come down, walking forward, and then drop your knees onto the mat and look up, and then lifting onto the toes. Keep your knees softly bent and come back to standing position. But the idea of this exercise is to try keep your legs as straight as possible, to get that stretch through the posterior chain. So do try keep your legs as straight as possible. Is this number 5, Henry? Eyes up, get that nice stretch through the front, and walk it back. Okay, so aiming for 3 to 5 repetitions there. Okay, the next 2 exercises, we're going to take it to our rudimentary exercises. And the reason we're including these exercises is to use correct activation patterns of the deep-lying core muscles. So these are rolling action exercises. And we're going to start with an upper body roll movement. So Henry, I'm going to get you to lie onto your back. So do take your time with these exercises. They are quite tricky. It does take some time to learn these movements, but very, very important to activate those correct movement patterns through the core, which extend then through to the upper body. Okay, so Henry, I'm going to get you to start off. So I'm actually going to place another mat here just to make it a bit more comfortable, because you're rolling. And I'll get you to move into the center a little bit more. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so you're going to start lying on your back, arms extended overhead. Now to initiate this upper body roll, it's very important that you lift through the head first, and that's going to activate those core muscles. So Henry, I'm going to get you to lift up through the head first. You're going to lift your right arm up and reach across the body and roll across onto your front, leading with that arm, and your legs are just going to follow on this movement. Good. Okay, a little bit trickier on the return. Again, you're going to lift the head, reach that same arm up and across here to me, and pull across onto your back, just trying to control the movement as best as you can. And you're going to do the same then to this side. So as you're rolling, if you're finding it a little bit tricky to roll, I want you to imagine pushing something away from you with that leading arm. Good. And returning, you're going to lift the head, reach the arm across the body, and push. Okay, so you can see here Henry's finding it a little bit trickier in this direction, and you may find it a little bit more tricky in one direction than the other. If you do, just spend some time in that direction on that roll. So again, Henry, lifting the chin up, reaching across the body, pulling across the body, and you'll notice here the legs are just following with the movement. So the legs are inactive during this and they just follow with the movement. Try not to let them help out with the movement. Reaching across, roll, good. Okay, again, lifting the chin up, reaching across the body, push, imagine pushing something away from you, legs are just following. Good, okay, so this one's going to be a little bit trickier, lifting the head up. And really imagine now pushing something away from you. Good, and you can see there the movement is a little bit better. We're just going to do that once more to each side. So continuing there, Henry, with that head lift, arm reaching across. Good. And what you're aiming to do here is about 3 to 5 repetitions in each direction, and just really focusing on getting that correct movement pattern. Good, and one more in this direction. So the head lift, arm up, reaching across the body, pulling across, legs just follow, and hold. To return, head up, arm up, reach across the body in the direction of the roll, and pulling back. Perfect. Okay, as you build a little bit more stability with this movement, you can add on the repetitions. So anywhere between 3 to 5 repetitions. Okay, we're going to move on to the lower body roll. This is the final exercise in the stability, mobility movement. So Henry, I'll get you to move up a little bit more on the mat just to make it a bit more comfortable. So now we're leading the movement with the lower body, and the arms stay inactive, and the arms are just going to follow on this movement. So it's the exact same position, lying flat, arms extended overhead. So what Henry's going to do now is pull the knee up towards the upper body, and to initiate the roll, he's going to straighten his leg, but across the body, across the midline of the body, and then follow through on the roll. Good. Okay, so just control that landing as much as you can with that finish. Okay, so a little bit trickier now on the return, but you're going to perform the same movement. Flex the knee up to the side, and now you're going to extend the leg across the midline of the body, and roll across. Okay, so Henry lifted his leg up quite a bit there on that. What you want to do is try keep the leg as close to the opposite leg as possible. So we'll just look at that on this in this direction. So flexing the knee up, extend across the midline of the body. Good. And the arms are just following on the movement. So again, knee up, keep it close to the opposite leg now as you extend and push across here to me. And upper body just following. Good. Okay, Henry, I'm going to get you to continue that for 2 more in each direction. So what's really, really important here on this movement is that you're extending across the midline of the body, but trying to keep that leg close to the opposite leg as you perform that roll. If you find that that leg is lifting up, just focus on keeping it as low to the opposite leg as possible. So that's much better there, Henry. Good. Again, if you're finding it a little bit tricky in one direction, focus on pushing that leg across the body, so keep it close to the opposite leg as you roll here, Henry. Yeah, push, push, push. Yeah, much better. Okay, so keep that leg close to the opposite leg as you're rolling. If you're finding it a little bit tricky, like the upper body roll, imagine pushing something away from you as you roll across. Good, and relax. Perfect. Okay, so again, you're going to perform around 3 to 5 here, repetitions in each direction. And that's the stability mobility unit. We're going to move on to the speed unit next. Okay, so the next section we're going to work on is the speed unit, and we're going to work on linear speed mechanics here. So the idea of this unit is to teach good posture and biomechanics for straight line sprinting. So the first exercise we're going to work on is the A march drill. And the A march drill is to teach the proper positioning of the ankle and knee in the straight line run. So Henry, I'm going to get you to start here at this side. And the focus on this exercise is to get the knee up to about a 90-degree angle. Opposite arm and leg movement, and your toe up towards the upper body as you do this movement. So with the arm movement, you're looking for a hip to lip movement. So think of your thumb moving from your lip to your hip, hip to your lip, and a nice 90-degree angle and keeping it nice and strong. So you're tall and upright through the torso. You can have a slight forward lean on this movement. But the focus here is on getting the knee up and toe up as you march. Okay, so Henry's going to demonstrate this here. So nice strong arm movement, eyes up. Good, so the torso is nice and strong. Driving the knee up, pulling the toe up towards the upper body. So let's focus on getting those toes up a little bit more in front. And the stance leg is staying nice and strong. So you're going to work across 10 meters here and then just take a walk back to recover. So really looking for a nice strong stance leg on this and pulling the knee and toe up in front. Good. Pull that toe up a little bit more in front. Nice and strong through the torso and nice and strong through that stance leg. Good, and taking a walk back. Okay, so you're just going to do this twice, but I'm going to get Henry here to just show a progression on this. So if you're feeling confident on that movement, you can introduce a lift up onto the ball of the foot as you drive that knee and toe up in front. Okay, so Henry's going to show us that. Lifting up onto the ball of the foot, making sure that that stance leg stays nice and strong. So keeping that 90-degree bend in the elbows, nice and strong with that arm movement. Lifting onto the ball of the foot and slowly walk it back. Good. Okay, so really emphasizing that nice strong core, that knee up, toe up action, and keeping a strong stance leg. Okay, so we're going to progress that A march onto an A skip drill. So you're only going to progress this on if you're confident in that A march drill. So make sure you get that movement nice and strong first, and then if you're happy with it, you can introduce the skip. So all we're doing here is introducing a hop movement and a claw back to push the ground back behind you. So knee up, toe up. You're going to introduce the hop there and then claw back action. Okay, so Henry's going to demonstrate this for us. So just a nice light hop, take it nice and slow. Good, bringing that hop in and clawing back underneath and making sure you're clawing back underneath your center of gravity. Good, and take a walk back. Okay, so still getting that nice high knee and toes up movement. Keeping the torso tall, keeping the stance leg strong, but just introducing that hop and claw back action. So again, Henry, getting that hop, good, and clawing back underneath the center of gravity, toes up a little bit more. Perfect. Good. Okay, so that's your A skip drill. You can just take a walk back to the start, Henry. Okay, so again, just take your time with that exercise. If it feels a little bit funny, you can just take it back to the A march. You can take your hands out and place them on your hips as you're doing that movement, just to get that movement right. But again, just taking your time with it, practice, 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 just get those angles right. Most important thing there is getting the knee up and the toe up. Okay, we're going to progress this on to the B march drill. So the B march drill, it's an extension of the A march drill. It's a little bit trickier. And we're using this to teach the opening out movement that we need at top speed. So now we've got the knee up, we've got the toe up. And now at top speed, we need to open out for that long stride in order to get to top speed. So this does require quite a bit of hamstring flexibility. If you find that your hamstrings are a little bit tight, you might see that your leg on the extension goes down rather than out. Try focus on extending out as much as you can and work on hamstring flexibility outside of the session, and that's going to help with the extension part of this movement. Okay, so we're just going to take our time with this. This is a bit trickier. So Henry's going to demonstrate this first. We're going to do the B march first. So Henry, same movement as the A march. You're going to pull the knee and toe up, and then you're going to kick out and extend. Good. Kick out and extend. Good. Take your time with it, getting into the rhythm of the movement, and then making it a little bit more fluid. So up, out, good. And still keeping that nice, strong torso and arm movement. Let's take a walk back to the start. Stance leg staying strong, torso staying strong, slight forward lean, but keeping that torso tall. Kick out, kick out, kick out. Good. Slow it down a little bit, so just take your time getting that movement right. Knee up, toe up, and kicking out. Perfect. Okay, I'm taking a walk back to the start. So as we did with the A march, we're going to progress this onto an A skip. And exact same way, we're going to just introduce a hop and a claw back action. So again, getting that knee up, toe up, getting the extension, and then you're clawing back. So that claw back is to push the ground back behind you to send you forward. So again, taking your time with this, it can feel a bit funny when you start off. But getting that knee up, toe up, kicking out to extend, and clawing the ground back behind you. Okay, so Henry, just taking your time with this. If it feels a little bit messy, we'll tidy it up. Good, so up and kick out. Good. Kicking out, good. Clawing the ground back underneath you. Good, perfect. Okay, so don't worry too much about the arms right now. If it feels a little bit funny, again, you can take the hands out onto the hip and just focus on that leg movement. But Henry's doing good here with this. We're going to keep the arm movement, but as you develop strength and stability on this movement, you can focus on nice strong arms with this, with a 90-degree angle and that hip to lip movement. So we're just going to see that once more with that hop movement and extending, kicking out in front. So knee up, toe up, kick out. Good. Kicking out, strong torso, strong stance leg. Perfect, and take a walk back. So do take your time with learning the mechanics of these movements. Like I said, if you're struggling with the skip movement on these exercises, just take it back to the march movement and just get that movement right. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to work on is ankling, and we're going to progress that on to then your knee step over exercise. And the purpose of these exercises is to emphasize the lift, the mechanics of the lift of the foot off the ground during the running motion. Okay, so the ankling drill, you're going to lift your foot off the ground while keeping your toe flexed up. You're going to lift it along in line with the stance leg. And you're going to just cycle over the ankle of your stance leg. Now we're going to still do an alternating movement, and arm movement also involved in that. But you're just going to step over the ankle of the inside foot and then do a continuous movement, cycling that foot over the ankle. Okay, so Henry's going to demonstrate that. You're just cycling that ankle. Cycling, good, eyes up, strong torso, nice and tall through the movement. Perfect, and take a walk back again. Okay, so just emphasizing that toe up as you're cycling over that inside ankle. Okay, let's have a look at that again, Henry. Good, cycling, toes up, toes up, toes up. Good, pulling those toes up towards you, really emphasizing that toe pull up. Perfect, good, okay, you can take a walk back. Okay, the final exercise in this speed unit is going to be the knee step over. So we're just progressing on from that ankling movement to mimic the running motion a little bit more. Okay, so we don't run here. We're just teaching that foot position getting off the ground, but we run here. So now we're going to cycle up and over that inside knee. So imagine cycling up and over with the toes pulled up. As you do this, the heel is going to pull to the back side. When we run, the heel should be here to the back side. So not here or not here. Okay, so it's here, close to the back side, but underneath you. So you're pulling up along the inside leg, over the knee, and keeping that foot flexed up. Okay, so let's have a look at that, Henry. Good, toes up, toes up, toes up, and you're just cycling over that inside knee, and you can see there, Henry's heel is nice and close to the back side. Let's take a walk back to recover. Again, tall torso, nice and strong through your core. Stance leg is strong. And now really exaggerating that toe pull-up. So Henry, I'll get you to really exaggerate that toe pull-up and pulling up to cycle around that knee. Your heel is close to the back side. Good. Okay, and just making sure you keep that stance leg nice and strong. So that is our speed unit. We're going to move on next to our strength and power unit. Okay, we're on to the strength unit now. And just a reminder that this whole session is about developing good quality movement. So really focusing on good quality movement in each exercise here during this unit. Okay, so the first exercise that we're going to work on is the T-stance exercise. So Henry, I'm going to get you here off the mat for this one. You can perform this barefoot if you like. It does challenge the foot a little bit more. If you're not comfortable with that, you can perform it with the shoes. So this is a single leg movement. So what we're looking for here is nice alignment from the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Okay, and I'm going to get Henry here to demonstrate the movement. So we're going to start off with the hands here in front as if you're holding a football. You're going to shift the weight onto one leg, keep a soft bend in that knee, and then you're going to hinge forward at the hips and try lift the leg up behind and drop the chest in front. And what you're aiming to do here is to create a nice T-shaped position and then slowly draw forward. Good. Okay, staying on the same leg, drawing that leg back behind. Now that supporting leg, you want a soft bend in the knee, but you don't want that knee to be locked. You don't want it to be locked out, but you don't want too much of a bend in that knee either. So trying to create that T shape, supporting leg, and then a flat line or straight line from your shoulders down to your heel. So let's try get that back leg a little bit higher. Good, and yep, catching yourself if you lose the balance and pulling back up again. Perfect. So each time you do this, you're just trying to find a little bit more height from that back leg, a little bit more depth from the upper body. So trying to get the chest parallel to the ground, trying to get that elevated leg parallel to the ground. And as you pull back to starting position, you're going to engage the glute and hamstring to pull back to that starting position. And leg back again, just trying to find as much height as you can. Straighten that support leg a little bit more. Yeah, so you'll see that support leg is going to want to bend that little bit more. Good. Okay, so 5 repetitions. We're looking for 5 more here. If you want to switch over, you can switch. So Henry, I'm actually going to get you to switch legs. If you're feeling strong, you can continue and do the full set of 10 on each leg, one at a time. So Henry's just going to switch over here. So again, you're hinging forward, trying to get that back leg nice and high. Good. And pulling back to starting position by engaging that glute and hamstring. So very slow exercise here, but we want to make sure you're keeping it slow. You don't want to move fast through this exercise because you're going to work into the wrong muscles. You're going to cheat through the movement. So nice and slow, challenging those stabilizers and trying to challenge them further by getting that back leg nice and high. So lifting that back leg up and drawing back to that standing position, activating the glute and hamstring. One thing that you want to watch out for on this exercise is the rotation of the hips. So we'll watch Henry here as he goes back. So the hips are nice and aligned here. So he's not allowing the hips to rotate and open up as he sends that leg back. So keeping those hip bones facing forward all the way through that movement as you send that leg back behind. So like I said, you can perform the 10 reps here on one leg and then switch it over. Or you can break it into 5 and 5. Okay, so Henry's done 5 on the right, 5 on the left. So we're going to switch it back now. And I'm just going to show you a little progression here. So if you're feeling strong on this, you can add in an arm reach overhead. If you're happy with this and you're being challenged enough, you can keep the arms where they are. So Henry's just going to add in a reach overhead. And now you can really see that T-shaped position here. And coming back to standing position. So all the time that stance leg is going to want to sink a little bit more. So as you come back with that back leg, that knee's going to want to sink. So keep just a soft bend in that knee. Not locked out, just that soft bend in the knee. And engaging the glute and the hamstring to pull you forward. Good. Okay, we're going to challenge this with a little bit of a quicker movement. So I think we've got 3 reps left on this leg. Little bit quicker, but again, not too quick that you're losing control of that movement. You still want control, sending that leg back, sending the chest forward. Reach, still looking for that high leg reach behind. Good, and just on this final rep, Henry, I just want you to watch that stance leg and try come up a little bit more. So not straightening out the leg completely. Yeah. Lovely. Lifting that back leg behind, reach the arms forward, squeeze through the glute and hamstring and come to a standing position. Good. Okay, we're doing 5 more repetitions here on the opposite leg. So 5 to go. Very slow, tedious exercise, but it is a very, very good one for creating that hinge or developing a strong hinge through the hips and developing stability on the single leg. So again, your focus points here are alignment to the ankle, the knee and the hip as you hinge forward. So if you need to catch yourself here, like Henry has just done, do that. Catch yourself. Your balance might go off, especially as you get tired. Just take your time developing strength in this movement. Okay, 2 repetitions to go. Again, let's bring a little bit more pace into it, but still keep it controlled. Reach, pull back to standing position. Good. And last repetition. Send that leg back. Reach that back leg nice and high. Lovely. And pull back. Good. Okay, so leg getting nice and tired there. Take your time with that one. It's all about developing good quality movement. Okay, a little bit of a quicker one next. We're going to move on to the push-up exercise. So Henry, you're going to come down onto your knees. Walk forward, hands underneath your shoulders. And engaging the core in this exercise. So it is an upper body exercise. We're working on that horizontal push, but you want to keep your core engaged here to make sure that your hips are stabilized and not dropping down or piking up. Again, using this exercise here as a neck strengthening exercise. So not letting your head hang. Your eyes should be looking just out here ahead in front of you. Dropping down by extending at the elbows and pressing up, imagining pushing the ground away from you. Again, 10 repetitions here. Keep it controlled. You want to lower down to a point where your arms reach 90-degree angle at the elbows, or a little bit deeper if you can control it. If you're struggling with that, what you can do is perform a scap push-up. So instead of bending the elbows, you're going to keep the elbows locked out, and you're just going to sink through the shoulder blades and push up through the shoulder blades. So just pre-traction, protraction of the shoulder blades and just developing that strength. And then as you get a bit stronger, you can bend the elbows and drop a little bit deeper on the movement. So struggling with the full push-up, you can work on that scap push-up. So just developing strength through the shoulders and scapula initially. Okay, moving on to a body weight squat exercise. Henry, I'll get you here and facing this direction. And we're going to start off with the arms out in front for this exercise. So what you're looking for here is a nice upright torso. Your feet are shoulder width apart with your toes turned out slightly. And you're sitting back into the squat movement. You're going to drive through your heels back to the starting position. As you sit back, imagine sitting back onto a chair and the weight's back on your heels and then pressing up through the heels to starting position again. Your torso might want to come forward on this. Try keep it controlled. Keep an upright position and only working to a position where you've got control through that squat. So looking for some nice depth, but only work to a position where you've still got control on the movement, that you're not feeling like you're going to fall forward or backward. Again, 10 repetitions. Perfect. Okay. Final exercise that we're going to work on is a core exercise, and this is going to be your plank exercise. So Henry, I'll get you down onto your knees. You're going to be resting on your forearms for this one. So elbows are going to be below your shoulders, and you're going to be resting on your toes. So lifting the toes onto the toes and holding position. Now you're going to try hold this position for 10 to 30 seconds, and you're going to build that strength. So if you find that you're only able to hold 10 seconds, next time try hold 15, 20 and build up to your 30 seconds. So with this position, what you're looking for is a nice straight line from your shoulders down to your heels. So Henry, I'm going to get you to lift your hips a little bit more. Good. And engage your core, brace your core. So you don't want your hips dropping down for this. You don't want your hips piking up either. So keeping a nice neutral spine and a flat line from shoulders down to heels. We're going to hold for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and drop onto your knees. Good. And sit back on your heels and come to a standing position. Okay, that's your 4 exercises. We're going to repeat a set. If you feel like you can join us on this, do join us for a second set. If you feel like you've had enough, you can stop there, and next time you repeat the session, you can look at adding another set. But it's all about control of movement. So we're taking a break now for about 1 to 2 minutes. So I want you to grab a drink of water and just catch your breath. Inhale in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, just letting your body relax in between the sets. So just reminding yourself here also that this is all about good quality movement. So just taking your time with the exercises, not rushing through them. We are going to bring a bit more pace into the second and third set, but if you feel like you're losing control in the movement, just slow it down, take your time with it, only do as many reps as you can. Okay, so going back to the first exercise, if you do need to take a little bit longer here of a break, you can do that and then join in with us. But going back to the first exercise, the focus here is on engagement through the glute. It's that T-stance exercise. We are going to bring that bit more pace into it, but still keeping it controlled. So back to the first leg. You can perform this as you want, 10 reps on one leg, 10 reps on the other, or you can split it up 5 and 5, or you can split it up even more and you can perform lower repetitions if you need to. So you can see here, Henry's bringing a little bit more pace into it. He is using that arm extension overhead. You can bring the arms back to the chest if you need to and keep them back towards the chest as if you're holding a football. But the emphasis here is control, and it's trying to find that nice T-shaped position. As that stance legs gets tired, it's going to want to bend that little bit more. Try not to let that happen. Good. Okay, so Henry's switching here after 5. Just give that leg a bit of a break. And it is a good idea to do that if you want to influence good control on the movement. Reach. And engaging that glute and hamstring to pull back to standing position. So don't let yourself just fall back to that standing position. You want to find that T-stance position and then engage the stance leg glute to pull you back up to that standing position. Good. Again, watching for that hip rotation, especially as you get tired. Your hips are going to want to open up on the movement, and as you send that leg back, they're going to want to twist and rotate to make the movement that little bit easier. So keep the hips aligned and send that leg back. Good, okay? So Henry's just switching back to that first leg for another set of 5. Remembering that if you lose control on the movement, just take a second, regather, try perform it again. If you find that you're struggling to control the movement, even with that bit of a rest, then cut it there. Remember that number of reps that you've performed and try to perform a little bit more next time. Reach. Good. And to get that nice T shape, you're really trying to stretch out through the upper body. So reaching your arms out here in front, and imagine reaching your leg to the wall behind you. Good. Okay, last 5 repetitions. Legs getting tired now. You're trying to fight against that shaking and keep that control to keep that stability and alignment. Reach. Arms up in line with the ears, trying to get that heel high behind, and also trying to get that stretch in the leg behind. So you might feel that your heel is lifting up with a bent knee, but try keep the knee straight and get that long stretch. Good. And last 2. You do have to take your time with this exercise. It is a slow one. It is quite a challenging one. That's why we're starting the set with this exercise. Good, 1 to go. Hinge, send that back leg back long and high, reach forward and pull through the glute to return. Good, okay, we're on to the push-up. Strong core, strong upper body on this. And sending the elbows back. That's something I didn't mention in the previous set. You want to send the elbows backwards so they're not flaring out to the side. They will come out to the side slightly, but you want to send the elbows back as you're performing that push-up. Nice strong core. Like the squat, only going to a depth that you can control the movement. And as I showed you in the previous set, if you're struggling with this push-up, or even if you get tired in maintaining the control on this full push-up, take it to a scap push-up. Okay, your body weight squat. I'm going to get Henry to change his arm position in this just to show you a progression on this exercise. So hands behind the head. Exact same movement. Tall torso, pressure through the heels, sit back into it, and drive through the heels on the return. So you can see here, Henry still has a nice tall upright body position. He's still getting nice depth on this. If you struggle with this, with keeping your arms back behind the head, then just take your arms back in front again. Again, working to a depth that you can control the movement. Keeping your heels down. Weight back onto the heels as you sit back. Strong core, open chest, pulling the elbows back. And nice control, good. Okay, and finishing off with the squat. Plank. Okay, plank. Elbows below the shoulders. You're lifting onto the toes. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. If you feel that you can't hold it for 30 seconds, then you can drop down whenever you feel like you're losing control and build that strength. Good. Okay, so Henry's just lifted his head here, and that's the position you want your head to be in. You don't want your head hanging down. You want strength through your neck. So keep those eyes out. Keep the core nice and strong. Lifting the hips a little bit, Henry, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's your 30 seconds. Good. Okay, again, we're going to take a break. Get some water. Catch your breath. If you feel like you can join us in a third set, do. If you feel like you've had enough, you can leave it at that. You can also try out this third set. If you feel like you're losing control, then you can stop there. Okay, so during that break, do take your drink of water, catch your breath, and again, the focus is going to be on good movement quality during this final set. We are going to introduce just a little bit more pace again, just to challenge the movements. But if you feel like you're losing control, just slow it down again. If you feel like you're totally losing control, then just leave it there and attempt to do that third set the next time. Okay, so ready to go? Final set. Okay, so back to this T stance exercise again. So bringing some nice pace into this, but still looking for that T shape and that strong pull forward. Okay, so Henry, it's up to you whether you do that arm position here forward or that arm reach. Send the leg back and pull forward. Good. So you're still getting that T stance position with the rest of the body, even without that arm reach in front. Think of that straight line from shoulders down to the heel. So straighten that back leg and reach and pull forward. Good. Watch that stance leg. Make sure that it's not extended too much, but it's also not bent too much. So you've got a soft bend in the knee just to support your weight. Send it back. Reach, reach. Good. Pull forward. Perfect. Okay. 5 completed. 5 on the opposite side. Break this up as much as you need to. Reach. Good. Long leg behind. Pull forward. Good. Your hips are still aligned here. So even if you find that you had good control in this movement in the first and second set and your hips weren't rotating, as you get tired, those things start to reveal themselves. So just watch that. Nice strong leg. Long reach. Stretch that leg behind. Good. And strong pull forward. Remember to engage that glute on the hamstring as you pull forward. So again, don't let yourself just swing forward. Engage the glute and hamstring and draw yourself forward strong. Okay, we've 10 done. 10 to go, 5 on each leg if you're doing it that way. Reach that back leg high, good, and forward. Good, you can see that stance leg now wanting to bend, always wanting to bend more. You may find that it's wanting to lock out to control the movement as well. So just that soft bend in the knee and trying to maintain that soft bend in the knee throughout. Reach. Pull. Good. T position, chest low, leg high behind, and pull forward. Perfect. And last 5 repetitions. So last of the T stance. It is a difficult exercise. Just be patient with it. Take your time with it. You're just trying to develop more and more control with it. So really focusing on the stability of the movement. Reach. Pull forward. Good. Chest parallel with the ground. Back leg parallel with the ground. Pull forward. 2 more. Watch that stance leg. Don't let it bend too much. Don't let it lock out. Hinge. Good. Squeeze through the glute and hamstring. Pull forward. Good. And last one. Reach. Don't let the hips rotate. Back leg long, high, and pull forward. Perfect. Good. Okay, we're into the push-up. A little bit quicker again this time. Adapt it if you need to. Strong core and drop. 10. 9. 8, strong neck. 7, 6, 5. Keep your core strong. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Only dropping as low as you have control. Onto the body weight squat. I'm going to get Henry to perform this with the arms behind the head. If you need to, you can perform it with the arms out in front. 10 repetitions. Again, challenging it with a little bit of pace here, but still maintaining control. Strong core. Sit back, drive the weight back onto the heels, and then push through the heels on the way back up again. Always coming to full extension on the squat. So down and then up to full extension. So don't stop with flexion in the hips. Stop with full extension through the hips. Keep the chest open, keep the torso tall. Again, 10 repetitions. Perfect. And we're finishing off with the plank exercise. Again, aiming for between 10 and 30 seconds here on this. Good. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds here, Henry. If you do need to drop, you can drop down. Keep your core nice and strong. Neutral spine, neck strong. Focus on bracing that core. Watching the hips. Don't let them drop down too low. Don't let them pike up. So you don't want those hips lifting up away from the ground. So neutral spine. Last 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and drop down. Good. Weight back on the heels. Come to a standing position and grab some water. Okay, so that's it for our strength session today. Well done to everyone who joined us. We're now going to take it onto a cool down stretch just to finish off the workout. Okay, so for the cool down stretch, you're going to hold each stretch for about 30 to 45 seconds. And you're going to flow through a routine here from standing position down onto the floor and then back up onto the feet. Okay, so Henry, we're going to just start off with a stretch for the posterior chain, so along the calves, hamstrings, glutes, into your back, and we're going to stretch through the chest as well. So I'm going to get you to take your hands behind your back, interlock your fingers, and then you're going to pull your arms back to stretch through your chest. From that position, feet pointing forward, just about shoulder width apart, you're going to hinge forward at the hips, and try bring your arms up as high as you can to the ceiling. So you're pulling your hands up to the ceiling and trying to keep your legs nice and straight on this. Good, so we're going to hold here for 30 seconds on each stretch. Really pulling those arms up. And really exaggerate that pull of the chest. And as you hold this movement, try exaggerate that pull. Pulling back through the shoulders, pulling the hands towards the ceiling. Good, so just holding for another 5 seconds, really exaggerating that stretch and just using a nice slow controlled breathing pattern here, into the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, keeping that position, Henry, bring your hands down onto the mat. Good, you're going to walk forward, you're going to drop onto one knee, and you're going to bring the opposite foot forward, and we're going to take a hip flexor stretch here. Good, so you're going to lean forward, and what you're looking for here is a nice stretch on the front of the hip. If you're not feeling that stretch, you can just walk your front foot forward a little bit more. If you're too far back, you're not going to get that stretch. So your knee here in front doesn't want to come over the toes. You're going to walk it forward and hold that stretch. Again, holding each stretch for about 30 seconds. If you can hold it for a little bit longer, you can go up to 45 seconds. Okay, let's keep that position, and we're going to take it now to the hamstring on the opposite side. So you're going to sit back, you're going to allow the toes come up towards you, and you're going to reach forward towards the foot. Okay, so as you're performing this stretch, you want to reach your hands towards the foot, but don't force the stretch and don't force any of these stretches. So just stretching to the point of tension and never pain on these movements. So you're just reaching towards that foot. If you can't reach the foot or the ankle, don't worry about it. Don't force the movement. So again, holding for about 30 seconds here, just helping these muscles to stretch out and kickstart that recovery. Good. Okay, Henry, you're going to switch legs. Opposite leg forward. You're going to push forward for that hip flexor stretch. If you're not feeling that, again, walk that front foot forward a little bit more. And just gently sitting forward. And let your torso come forward with you. You don't want to pull back on this movement. So just keep that spine neutral and hinge forward. Just trying to find that stretch on the front of that back leg. Again, using your breath, deep breaths into the nose, out through the mouth, remembering that that breath can help mobilize the joints and muscles. And sitting back for your hamstring stretch on this side. Again, reaching towards the foot, but not forcing the movement. If you can't reach the foot or ankle, just reach down along the leg as far as you can. If you find that the muscle is releasing out and you can reach it a little bit further, take it that little bit further. And on each exhale, imagine that muscle relaxing. And relax. Perfect. Okay, let's face this direction for the next one, Henry. We're going to take it now to the inner thigh. Take your hands down in front. You're going to bring your left leg out to the side, toes pointing forward. And you're going to press back, and you should feel this stretch along the inside of the left leg. If you're struggling to find that stretch, you're just going to walk the supporting knee out a little bit wider and gently press back into it. You can rotate through the torso and sink down into it if you want to find a little bit of a deeper stretch. Feeling that, Henry? Again, about 30 to 45 seconds, and you can switch legs. Good, okay, straight leg on the stretching leg. Sit back into it, try find that stretch along the inside of the leg. Again, if you're struggling to find that stretch, you can walk the supporting knee out a little bit more, or you can rotate your torso towards the supporting knee. Again, using your breath, relax the muscles on the exhale. Good. Okay, Henry, I'll get you to bring your hands to the front of the mat again. From here, you're going to lift onto your toes. Nice straight leg position. Walk back to a standing position. Trying to keep the legs as straight as possible. And we're just going to finish off. You can stay facing that direction, Henry. We're going to finish off with a quad stretch. So you're going to keep your supporting leg nice and soft on this. I want you to reach back, grab a hold of your foot behind, and pull your heel towards your back side. Now, as you're doing this, the supporting knee staying soft to stabilize, and pulling your heel nice and close to the back side. If your knee is out here in front, you're not going to feel that stretch. So pull it back in line with the opposite leg or back beyond it if you can. Also trying not to let that knee flare out to the side. So keep it centered, keep it pulled back, and hold that stretch on the quad. Again, 30 to 45 seconds, and switch it over. Soft supporting leg. Keep that balance. If you are struggling to balance here, you can just hold on to something and get that stretch. So again, knee centered, pull it back. Try not to let it come out in front. Try not to let it come out to the side. Pull it back, stay centered, and feel that stretch on the front here on the quad. Again, using your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And relax. Good. Okay, and that's it for our session today. Thank you very much for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you in the next session.